Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at Community Report 84 for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This was published on the 2nd of October 2023. It's not a very long community report, and the focus is very much on quality of life improvements. So we might as well just jump straight in. It says, "Greetings, comrades of the Soviet Republic and fans of our game. As the seasons change, we also know the struggles of shorter days and longer nights. While nighttime has its own charm, it also comes with challenges, much like our game." And I'll just jump straight down to the next paragraph. It says, "The darker nights in our simulation have created visibility issues. While realistic, we understand that gameplay should be enjoyable. That's why we've decided to lighten the nights a bit. This change will especially help YouTubers, making it easier to showcase their in-game experience." I must admit, I agree with that sentiment. We'll just take a quick look at the two pictures. This, I'm assuming, now this looks much brighter, and I actually quite like it. Actually, looking at this, kind of gives me the inclination to do a day-night cycle. And I think down here we've got another bit. Yeah, here you can see the difference. Now I'll be completely upfront, I really hated this one on the left where it's really dark, not just from a point of view that it made YouTube videos very difficult. It just made working through the night cycle when you're planning and trying to do things and look at things very difficult. But I must admit, I do like the lightened view, and that does definitely give me the inclination to play with a day-night cycle, because it in some ways, this in an odd way looks better than that, because even though you can just see the lights, because you can see the rest of the infrastructure around, it gives the overall view a lot more character. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about it. Feel free to chuck a comment in the video description. Anyway, just going to jump straight down. It says, "Today we're focusing on quality of life improvements. New icons will now show when buildings and constructions are turned off. A red X will appear near the icon, making it clear that the structure is inactive. This will save you from scratching your head wondering why something isn't working." Okay, we'll just take a look at this picture. Now, this is quite a useful quality of life improvement, because it's one thing I do get caught out quite often, that I look at a building and I don't realize that it, especially construction projects like this unfinished road down here, I look at it and I don't often pick up immediately on either the text or the small icon. Having a fairly big cross indicating. Also, I think, if I don't know if you guys can see it above this central drop down, it looks like they actually put the cross next to the road, and that'd be quite useful, because again, it's one thing that I find frustrating sometimes. You look at road and you think, oh, the construction office is not building it, and you keep coming back, and then you suddenly realise that for some reason it's got switched off. And so moving down to the next paragraph, it says, "We're also introducing a visual cue for items marked for demolition. This red modelling highlight will make it easy to spot what you're about to tear down, reducing the chances of accidental demolition." Yeah, I must admit, I've accidentally demolished or tried to demolish a couple of things. So I think this again will be very useful, because I know it highlights in red when you put the cursor over, but I mean, it's very easy to look at a road or put footpath and assume that's been demolished, but it's not. So this highlighting will also be very useful. So the next one is, "In addition, we've added new alerts for waste management. The notification will help you find issues if at container stands and waste dumping." Maybe just look at this one. So yeah, so we've actually got the tick box here to say notify me if these are empty. Now, I'll be completely upfront. I haven't ever had really a major problem related to whether the stands have not been kind of overflowing. But have had the occasional problem where a dump's filled up and I haven't noticed. And of course, that then backs up into your towns, and these containers fill up. And then what that does is, when the containers fill up, that actually produces pollution, which then affects the health of your population. I doubt very much if I'd switch this on for the small garbage collections, because occasionally you get temporary overflows, which aren't a problem. But a dump, that would be quite significant. Knowing whether a dump is actually filled up or not, that would be very, very useful. So moving down to the next one, it says, "For those who use construction offices, you will be pleased to know that we've added an option to disable auto search before placing the office. This would give you greater control over what gets built and when." Yes. Now, this is probably one of my bugbears about construction offices, that you place one, and then when it's built, it automatically detects all the jobs around. So I think the ability to switch that off permanently and then switching on the auto search, and more importantly, what attributes of the auto search you want, is going to be very useful. And you can see here on the right hand side, this is a close in of the bottom right hand corner of the screen if you're not familiar. And you can see these are the various options for auto build. And you've also got this max workers without construction office, and above where it says auto purchase resources, you've now got a tick box to switch it off the auto search, or switch it on. It's off by default by look at the moment. So we're just going down to one more. As I said, this is a very short report. So we're going to move down to the next one. It says, for path planning, we've introduced a new tool to help you consolidate fragmented paths into longer continuous sections. This will be particularly useful when organizing underground pathways and tunnels. Ooh, wow. What is it? Oh, we got here. It says footpaths connected to two pieces. So you'll be able to connect. Yeah, I must admit, I have encountered this problem when I've put in a footpath, especially when you want it to kind of change direction, which I've done occasionally. I must admit, I haven't done it often, but that ability to remove that point in the center there would be very, very useful. It'd be quite nice if that was also on roads, so that you didn't. I know you can do it with the waypoint, but it'd be nice if you actually had something similar for taking out the grid points on a road as well. And this is, we're not stopping there. We're also looking into improving construction office efficiency. Specifically, we aim to fine-tune how construction offices allocate workforce to various sites, ensure a more logical distribution of labour. And now that will make a big difference, because I must admit, I do occasionally get a bit frustrated where the actual construction office sends workforce to a place which is, say, waiting for resources, or the job's only started and it's doing groundwork. So the construction office being a little bit more intelligent about where the workforce is going would be very, very useful. So we're just going to move down to the final paragraph. It says, we want to extend a special thank you to our ZZ/SK community, and in particular Jan Mitiska. Their role wasn't just as to offer suggestions, but to serve as curators of ideas, collecting valuable input from various players and presenting them to us in an organised manner. This collective effort has been immensely helpful, and it's a model we would love to see replicated across all our communities. If you have ideas, suggestions and constructive critiques, don't hesitate to compile them and bring them to us for our attention. We're also always listening, and it's this kind of collaborative spirit that helps us enhance the game for everyone. That's all for today's update. Stay tuned for more improvements, and as always, enjoy your life and beyond the game as well. So that's it. Very short, straight to the point. I must admit, I'm liking these quality of life improvements, and the lightening the day-night cycle, the night cycle, it kind of opens up the possibility that I will add that to my gameplays, or even if it's not all the. And I think the other advantage of this is that when you first start and you haven't got any major buildings and streetlights, effectively in the moment when the night cycle comes in, you're just looking at a black map. So that is very, very useful. As I say, the waste management one is probably something I wouldn't use excessively. I certainly like the connecting paths and all that, and I would like to see that possibly extended to removing road nodes. I know it's a bit, or even railway nodes, but I know that's been a bit pedantic. This is where I'm going to leave it. Any comments, opinions, feel free to chuck it in the video description. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.